Got more business worries than business losses. We got more business worries than more friendship. We got more business worries than any hope and dreams that we can never think of. Because you know what? We still stuck in that slave mentality. We are our own slave master and our own slave owner.
America created the nigga, his experience, and his surroundings.
Be very careful who you talk to, because you'll never know who the informant is, who the cooperating witness may be, and you never know somebody who was a friend today may have been flipped the night before and become your enemy tomorrow.
About humanity, putting truth in these lines while they busy feeding lies. When you got that tunnel vision, gotta open up your eyes. Wake up and go to sleep. Man, I'm praying all times. And to my guys, ain't no other side. This for my brothers, I'ma pray with y'all shine. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Yeah, you already know.
Depending on the lessons, some people eat, some people learn. But the game is going to send you big.
So I grew up between Fairfax, Hauser, La Brea, partially to Crenshaw. Growing up as a kid, that's kind of like my whole area. All the way to Rodeo, all the way back up to Pico. That's like the whole area I grew up.
What would that area be known to you in terms of gang culture?
That would be West LA.
West LA. So what hood did you belong to in West LA?
I grew up in the Geers.
In the Geer gang. Yeah. Westside Geer gang. Right. That'd be on Hauser.
Yeah, Hauser, Adams, La Brea.
And who were some of the people that you ran with? If you could name any of them.
Can you be a little more specific? Like people that I grew up specifically with out of the Geers?
Yes.
Oh man, I mean that'd take up the whole the whole interview. But I grew up with the Big Devils and the little T-Tops, the big T-Tops, the Bojangles, the Winos, them the people, the Pootie Wax, that's more or less the crew individuals I grew up with, the C-Sains.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Pootie Wax and T-Top, definitely. They were some names that stood out over there, definitely. So what schools did you attend in that area?
I went to Mount Vernon, Dorsey High, but back in those days, you was getting kicked out of a lot of them schools. So I ended up getting sent to Palms, kicked out of Palms, and went to Berindo, went to Paul Revere, went to Fauché, which was like walking in and walking out. I wasn't supposed to be there that long.
I used to play at Fauché.
Yeah, baby. I was there, baby, 45 minutes.
45 cents. What were some of the reasons why you would get kicked out during that time? Because I know this gang culture has evolved over time, but what were some of your reasons?
Well, walking in the pasture, they already knew who I was. So it wasn't no stand. It wasn't no running. So it was, some of the homies was coming, hopped the fence, got into the fight. I'm out the school. It's over. Mount Vernon was a little bit different. There was a lot of Crips going there back then, a lot of schoolyards, boulevards. So it was almost like a medium. The Harpies kind of rolled with the NHBs. So, we kind of stayed there a little bit longer in that environment, which we were more or less out of box for even being there. But You know, the other schools, it was, you know, end up going to jail for possession of sales, which was a hot thing in the mid 80s.
Would it be fair to say that back then the West Side was more connected than it is today?
Oh, absolutely. Not only through money, not only through the gang, but family and family relations.
Mhm. And you say you went to those schools, but specifically, was there like more or less the gang fights or the gangs struggling or to claim certain turfs, or you couldn't just be in certain areas to go to certain school? What was that led to those situations?
So I give you an example with two different ones. So going to Dorsey, which is almost primarily a BPS school during the 80s, you did have a lot of 30s there.
BPS name, what is
which
that?
is the Black Pea Stone, the
Black
Jungle
Pea Stone.
Stones.
Okay.
Yeah, you had which is primarily their school because it's primarily in their backyard. But you had a lot of 30s there and you had a lot of Geers there. So that kind of weeded off the possibility of them dominating the whole school. I even went to Audubon, which is primarily like a 40 school, but you still had, you know, some Bloods there. But the difference in this scenario, they had to sneak around because they wasn't the predominantly group of individuals there.
What is it about our people? Now, some of the schools you name, I know were predominantly Crip, right? But for some reason, even though everybody had a blue rag, the only differences between anybody was that maybe you claimed Geer, he might have claimed 40, he might have claimed 60, he might have claimed West Boulevard, he might have claimed Marvin, then, you know, so on and so forth. For some reason, that seemed to make a difference to Trip.
Well, it was
Set
tribal.
Trip.
It was tribal. So let's first and foremost go back to the original essence of us as a culture. It was tribal. So once we had the opportunity to identify and differentiate the tribal elements, we started to culturalize the name as family. And once it became culturalized, what I recognize is that the money and the drugs started to play a sinister part in us being divided as brothers in the human environment.
Who was seeing King Set Trip from Geer? Am I looking at him?
No. No. No.
Everybody have a King Set Trip. That's why I asked. You know,
Well, it kind of depends, and I would have to say back in the 80s, it kind of depends. You know, where I come from, you had several individuals that had hands, but then you had some dudes that had elbows. You know, just because a dude can fight don't mean he can really squabble. So the probably Big Bojangles. Probably Big Bojangles. He more or less was, you know, when he come around, you know, some dudes would tuck their pockets and, you know, some dudes, probably Big Bo. Big Bro was a very respected, loving individual, and he represented something that a general would represent. He represented a general. We had a lot of different generals. Big Reg was a general. You feel what I'm saying? Big Wino was a general. You know, even the guy I grew up with, Big Diamond, was a general. I had some, you know, dudes was generals, but Big Bojangles is more closer to that mold that you speak of.
would it be fair to say they fit the mold of graveyard disposition with tombstone mindsets? And what I mean by that is
suicidal to some extent.
Yes.
I think we all were. I think we all pose this diabolical paranoid personality sense that we really didn't recognize that was haunting us. Even me, you know, that was what was haunting me as a young man, not trying to fit in, but trying to make sure I continuously meet this mold every day and that challenge. If you say something wrong, it's not about compromise. It's about action. You know, there was no such thing as verbal compromising.
Cali Finders, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money. Got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the fans get me. It's guap off top,